It's all
you know?
energy, man. And we're energy.
Yeah,
We're super gallery. Boom. Okay. You there? You good?
I'm there. I'm good.
Okay. We're not fucking up with an intro or anything like that. It was so funny. So I was doing another interview with my friend and we just jumped on, we were spitting, we were flowing, it was fun. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, this is too good. Let me throw on an intro. I threw an intro on, gone. The spirit left, everything went
Yeah,
away, and all that was left was just like me. And like
that's
it was
funny.
meant to happen that way because
Oh
I
yeah.
never understood what happened with Vetting America, like why I can't watch my own content and why I can't get into it and why it wasn't really hitting. And in reality, it was
Oh,
because there was no it was authentic, but it was like an interview show. So it was
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
asking a question and that person answering the question. It wasn't like this conversation. And I
Yeah.
realized, man, if it ain't this, then I
Dude, and this is a piece of advice. I don't know, take it or leave it, but I force myself to watch every video I make. I watch the whole thing and I watch it and I'm proud of myself just for being there and doing it. And I watch my things that I do and I'm like, I hate that I do that, but I'm, good for you, bud. I like talk to myself as I'm
that's
doing
what
it.
and that's what the 100 vlog challenge is really unlocked in me, was putting myself out there raw and real like this, putting my truth
Yeah.
out there, raw and real, and then also having to edit and see myself every day and see all those. But because I've done it now, it's today I did 76, day 76. So I've done
Yeah.
76 days of videos and I got to watch myself. Now, man, I can just boom, I can like deliver and I don't even have to watch it. But
Oh,
what's amazing is because it's really flowing from me. I do a prayer or a meditation before I come on and I ask the universe to flow through me. I ask God to use me as a vessel to speak truth to those who need to hear it. And
yeah.
because of that, when I watch my stuff back, man, I post them a week before so that I give myself a 7-day buffer to be able to work on some of the other videos and stuff. Because
Mhm.
I'm still going through this thing. I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And so what I found, man, is just I've grown so much, dude, in this experience. And every time I go back and I watch my video every day now, I make sure I watch it because I'm supporting
Good,
my own.
man.
If I'm not gonna watch my own content, nobody's gonna
Dude,
watch it.
click the like button too.
I do,
Click
I
it.
do, I
Yes.
like it. I like
That's what
it,
I'm
man.
talking
I
about.
like it.
Love it.
I like
Love it. Be
I'm
like,
subscribed on like 2 or 3 Gmail accounts. I'm like, whatever, let's make it happen.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I do that. I click it. I'm like, yeah, I fucking like it. So I made it. Okay. When I first started making videos, I'm like, I don't want to like it. It's egotistical for me
Dude,
to
same
like my
here.
own stuff. Well, I don't have permission to like my stuff of course you do. Of course you have permission to like your stuff.
Do
And if
you
anybody says otherwise, fuck them.
look? How many videos have you made so far? Because this YouTube channel alone, I think is at 400 or 500, and you've been making videos now for like 7 or 8 years. I mean, not obviously of the same stuff,
Yeah.
but there's a
A
reason
few
why
hundred.
you're good at this. And you've been doing it for so long.
I'm good at talking to people. So I noticed it almost immediately in my YouTube channel. Like uh I needed to just talk and just do what I wanted and I was decent at it and everybody seemed to like it. Like most of my videos did pretty well, even the first few. Like my first video I think has 20, 30,000 views or something.
Same here.
Uh
Yeah.
yeah, and that's awesome, man. So you
No, it was my one. I put out a video, my first video ever 3 years ago. I put out a video and it was like
yeah,
right on it. I talked about my journey. I'll send it to you.
yeah.
It's on my other YouTube. And it ended up getting like 11,000 or 12,000 views. And then I did the exact opposite of that video.
My theory is I did a video called the Starseed Contract.
Yes,
This video
that's how I met
was
you. That's
yes.
why
Oh my God, I forgot. This
that's
video
why I
was
looked you up, is because I
like
was like, what the
pure.
fuck is this starseed shit? I don't know.
It just came in. I'm like, oh, I understand the contract. Blah, 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 blah. And I just started telling people I didn't have any reference. I just was like, the contract is this, blah, 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 blah. And then the universe was like, yeah, buddy.
There it
And then
is.
just pushes it to people,
Yep.
using the YouTube algorithm, right? Like it's all, uh, and then I'm like, oh, that was me doing it right. And then I'm like, well, now I got to force it. I start writing down things and trying to really make it just so. And then it doesn't feel right. And I'm like, well, this isn't, and kind of resist it myself. Yeah. That's
So,
awesome.
all right. I don't know if you've told this story before, but I want to hear it. And I want to hear when you decided to go from because this was a hard choice for me. I guess we're talking about the creative side of the spiritual journey and stuff, right? So it's like, it was hard for me to go from conspiracy realist when I was talking about all that stuff about, you know, government and everything like that. That was my true awakening, was 8 years of studying the human trauma, you know? But making the decision to go from making that content and then just, and I only had like 24 subscribers, and I was like, but I'm like, oh, what about my subscribers? And I was like, you know what? I need to do this because this is the way I need to go. I'm getting censored. I'm getting blocked. So tell your story of when you decided to go from making video game Twitch streams to going, you know what? I think we're talking about Druidism and magic.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was making video game stuff, I loved video games my whole life. I still love them. I don't really play them that much because I'm too busy in the clouds being a weirdo.
I play my own RPG now.
Yeah, exactly. I play my own games. I don't really need video games. I tried to give away my PS4. So I love playing games, and I saw I was sitting on break at work, hating my life, hating it, right? And I'm like, you know, this life just is boring. And I was watching Markiplier, and I was like, this guy's hilarious. I could do that. That is so easy. I know how to make these things easy. And then I was just like, I'll do it then. And so I started doing it, and it started to work, and like I started to get traction, and I was like, why is this so fucking boring? Right? Like I just didn't, it didn't resonate. It was boring to me. I enjoyed it for a bit, and then it's almost the same patterning that you have whenever you have a goal. You're like, you get there, and then you're kind of like, I thought this would be kind of better, you know. In fact, I need to plug Disney's new Soul, because if you haven't seen that movie, it is a fucking documentary, bro.
Is it?
Watch it.
Disney Soul?
Soul. It's called Soul. It came out on, guess what day it came out?
I don't know when.
Christmas.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense. Soul Day. I was like, Soul Day, Soul Day.
Yeah, it came up. It came out on Christmas, and it's the. I like to think of it as the birth of the cosmic consciousness into the humanities collective in the physical in a mainstream way.
Yeah.
And if you watch it like I did, I cried the whole movie.
Really?
Oh yeah, the whole movie. It's the best movie I've ever seen.
Is it on Disney Plus or something?
Probably. Yeah, probably. I probably stole it.
Like live stream it.
I wish I could. I don't want my get
my channel. YouTube finds them copyrights quick, bro. Like they jump on
those robots know what's up, man.
Dude, they do.
Yeah.
So keep going with
smart robots.
Decided to like really change to shit. As I went through your channel, and I watched the beard video, and I watched the one.
Oh yeah.
This is where we're gonna go with this channel for now on, everyone. So if you don't really like it, you could just unsubscribe.
Yeah.
That was great.
I mean, because I know that I don't get any value from subscribers that don't want my stuff. And I don't want them to be wasted, you know, cognitive processing power on seeing my video show up if they're not interested, right? At the time, I didn't understand that they won't even see it if they're not supposed to see it, right? That's the law of confusion, right? So they won't even see it if you know. So I don't worry about any of that. And I had no idea, just intuitively, innately, for whatever reason, my purpose, my soul, whatever, I just innately understood these things without totally getting it.
Yep.
And then I kept trying to switch it. So I was like, maybe I should talk about IT stuff, like technology, because, you know, that seems more, I'm an IT guy. I love technology, sort of. Like, I guess it's all interesting to me. So I started.
I'm an IT guy, but been doing this for 10 years. I kind of like it, I guess.
Well, you know how the universe like puts you somewhere and then it makes you sort of regress, right? So it's almost like puts you back. And I was like, IT is boring to me now, because it became an expert at it. And then I was just like, you know, this is boring.
Yeah.
Then I started doing the gaming stuff, and then I started doing the IT on channel stuff. I only did a little bit of that. And then I was like, for months, I was just down. I went through a dark night of the soul for months I didn't even know it was a dark night of the soul yet, but I was just like, I have to do something that is not just go to work every day for 8 hours. I don't care if I go to work every day for 8 hours. That's great. That's fine. But I have to do a thing. What the frig is the thing? Um, and then one day I just woke up to it. I'm like, oh, I got to talk about the stories and what I'm learning about myself and about the world and reality and how to heal myself and these different things. I started to understand like people, I was getting a lot of benefit from people that just told their stories about their processes for self-healing and all these things. I'd sit there and go, oh yeah, that's great. And then I'd watch like tarot readers and I'd feel like when they're doing it, I'd feel resonance. I'm like, this resonates with me. This makes perfect sense with what's
It
going
makes
on.
more sense than any other shit they've been
I
feeding
got
us.
obsessed with tarot readers and I'm like watching all their content and I'm like, I could do that. And I almost tried to be a tarot reader and it's the same
But you're
problem,
good at it.
right?
I don't think you get to be an actual full
Oh,
on
I'm
tarot
great
reader
at it.
for prompts.
I'm great at it. I know, but
Right? But for prompts, like you pull 3 cards and have a fucking 25-minute conversation about it. Like
I brought this because I knew this would come up, I guess.
bro, let's pull a card. Like, let's see. Let's put it to the test in a little bit, where we just pull a card and see if we can talk about it.
Sure. Okay. So these are galactic heritage cards. Do you want to do it now?
No, here. I want to finish the story. So I want to finish your.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was about it. I basically just decided, you know, people need the truth. I need to share my truth. People need it. It helps them somehow. I couldn't figure out how it helped them at the time. I just knew that it was helping me hearing other people do it. So my mission sort of became to like also help people. Like I was feeling so shitty about myself that, you know, because I was such a fucking weirdo.
Dude.
And I'm like, everyone else is running around.
I want to be normal.
And I'm like, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And I went through this. I went to see psychiatrists. I don't know if not everyone will know this, but I was put in mental institutions. I was diagnosed with, or not diagnosed, but they suggested I could have psychosis, all these different things. They tried to medicate me. And so I'm like, what is wrong with me? I feel normal. I feel good. And then people all tell me I'm insane. And right. So I'm like, this is not right. It's not right. And I started to find out, oh, I'm empathic. That's a thing. Then I learned about like mirror neurons and how it fires in the brain, which triggers the emotional response in the body. And they say that like science will say that it doesn't mean but it's more of energy, right? It doesn't really matter what the physical functions of the body are with in that respect. It's just the energy, and the energy manifests prior to the physical response anyway. It's all, you know, the physical response is a response to the energy, right? So whatever mechanism, whatever, that's how how you become empathic. And then I started to understand auras and I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to get it about myself. Okay, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And it's starting to make sense. And so I realized that like by just talking about it, it would help me or help other people deal with their stuff, I guess. And a lot of it, I didn't even know why I was doing it.
It's awesome.
When I first started,
followed it, right?
Yeah, when I first started it, I had no idea really what I was doing.
That's for me, like 3 years ago, you know, when I graduated college after getting out of the military. I was a tax accountant, so I went and did 2 top 10 CPA firm tax accounting internships, and it was the worst thing I've ever done in my life, bro. And I just got out of the Marine Corps.
Even hearing it, I'm like, oh,
dude, it was just so not it. And then by that summer, I hit that low point where I was like, what's the point, you know? And I'm coming off of, before I went in the Marine Corps, I had a flash with suicide. Wasn't a very strong attempt, but the fact that I got to that point of even trying to hurt myself, unlike most people where they'd go and tell their parents and their parents would take them to the doctor, my mom was like, yeah, join the Marines. It's like, yeah, let's do it. And because we didn't know, and I've always been such a high functioning individual that even though I was traumatized a lot and I had PTSD and I had all these issues, my brain and my intelligence and my ability to think was never really hindered, because as soon as I wasn't left to my own devices, if I have something to think about, I'm good, man. That's why I love video games. It was like a distraction.
Yeah.
And even my video games, I didn't play RPGs. I didn't play thinking games. I didn't want to think. It hurt to think. I wanted to play first-person shooters, so I wanted to play with violence, and I wanted to get really good at it because I like the repetition and becoming really good at it.
I used to play Counter-Strike like semi-professionally.
Dude, I can see it. I can see you play that. I was my best game I ever played was Halo 2, dude. I was unstoppable in Halo 2. But other than that,
I played Overwatch as well. Like I got, I think I got to Masters or something. I don't know. I pulled these cards while you were talking because I thought it was really interesting. We've got creative communication. Let me just.
I'm gonna write it down. Creative communication.
Serious energy.
Serious.
Yeah.
Oh, serious. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's backwards. It's backwards for you.
It's backwards, and it's 61.
It's not backwards. It's not backwards for you. It's backwards in the camera.
Yeah.
And then we have holographic healing.
It's actually not backwards in my camera, and it's Pleiades.
Oh, perfect. Pleiades. So Sirius is with us. Pleiades with us, right? This is the energy that's with us now in this interaction, I believe.
Okay.
Pleiades. This is the future timeline. Holographic healing. So what are we doing right now? We're two holographs of reality, lenses of holographic reality, looking at each other, helping to heal. We're both talking about our experiences. We're healing ourselves, and then other people that watch it heal themselves through that. They have realizations, awakenings. We're channeling almost creative communication, and it's all to graduate, my brother.
Damn. Earth School. I just made a video, dude. I made a video yesterday called "We're Still in Earth School."
Yeah.
That I'm being really, I scream when I'm talking to you. I don't understand. I get so excited.
We get excited. Do it. Scream, man.
But like, it's so crazy when I'm working on our video, because like my audio octaves are up here and your audio octaves are down there. And it's like, I'm having to cut it all the time to like bring me down. I'm like, screaming. I'm so excited about Earth School.
Do I need to pump mine up at all?
No, I like
this card. This card just came out.
What is it?
Birth and Expansion.
Wow.
Lyra.
Birth.
Right. And this deck has a lot of negative cards.
Does it?
Yes. So that's just something I want to say for the viewers. Like these. So what I've been doing a lot with these cards is if I'm feeling like I'm speaking with, I almost use them as a reflection to be like, I feel like I'm speaking with various entities from various galactic areas, right? Pulling in those frequencies, like whatever. And then I'll be like, is this real? Like, what am I understanding this properly? This download that I'm getting, is this like, am I getting it? And then I'll pull the cards, and the cards will often make fun of me. Like they'll be like, you're too much in your head. What are you doing? Like, we're giving it to you. Like that's what the messaging I'm getting. And so then what I would do in my personal practice is I would be like, I'm too much in my head, and I'd get mad at myself, right? So it would almost serve the opposite purpose. I'd put myself into a further stupor and confusion about it because I wasn't trusting. Trust it, baby.
But like, think about look at the cards we just pulled. I'm just gonna say I wrote them down, and I'm gonna flow with it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we pulled creative communication from Sirius, holographic healing from Pleiades, graduation off of Earth to birth and expansion. We use creative communication because that's what we're doing right now. Is actually in reality we use communication to heal. That's what I realized, is that I am a healer. I just use words. I use concepts because we don't heal anyone. Everyone heals themselves. We just kind of bring insight. We use creative communication because we're using this now virtual. We're using YouTube. We're using this whole new way of communicating as humans to help people heal holographically. Because in reality, this is a holographic realm. This is a matrix, of a light matrix. We're just made of photons anyway. And at this connected consciousness, through this tuning fork, through our third eye, we pull the field of quantum into the field of reality, and then we manifest.
I just totally had a vision of you, dude, when you did that. I totally had a vision of like this guy just chilling in a spaceship with like all this beams of light coming in and out of him from his right here. Just
so when I use HemiSync, one of the sessions is about going into Focus 15 or Sense 15, which is outside time, and it's outside time and space.
Yep.
And the way I look at that is, so to get to Sense 12, I view myself going up my silver tether into the spacecraft that my higher self and oversoul are in.
Yeah.
And then I visualize in that spacecraft, right? I visualize the three of us holding hands in like a triangle, right? Holding hands, and we have a crystal between us, and our third eyes are all focused energy on that crystal. And then
Yeah.
that beams me out of time and space and outside of the universe. And that's when
That's
I'm
so
able to
cool.
start messing around and looking into the multiverse. And that's when I've been getting into
You've
the
told me a
multiverse.
little bit about that. You've told me it was just a flash, though. It almost like on my screen, it almost looked like an apparition formed over you. It was really interesting because my clairvoyance is going bananas.
That's awesome.
Bananas. I'm starting to see like
That,
some crazy stuff.
and
So
what's nice is when I talk to you is I do feel that you're a couple, like a month or two ahead of me in terms of like these. But I think what's happening is that because we're connecting more and more, my resonance is starting to catch up to yours, which is nice.
yeah,
Because
maybe. I'm not
I've been
sure.
starting to see things too a lot more vividly. But the Claire, I guess it
Yeah.
is because I had that weird experience on October 30th where I saw that thing at the side of my eye and I was like, "Ooh, man."
They test you. They test you the side too. That's where it happens usually at first.
I did not receive it with love. I did not receive it with love. I did not receive it with love.
Those are the tests.
Armor of God, fuck you.
Yeah. If I've been seeing grays all over the place, and grays, some of them have been healed and are loving, and some of them have not been healed yet and are not loving. So at least that's my experience. But they're if a loving being is also coming, like a gray that freaks you out, a loving being wouldn't show to freak you out, but a gray will show to try to freak you out.
Yeah.
So, or a gray or a reptilian may form an apparition near you to try to freak you out, or use the energy in the area to manipulate, or an exploitation of your own conscious mind. It could be an attachment that you actually are holding. If you're giving your energy to somebody else and they have an attachment, you can actually invite that into your experience as well. So that's why we isolate so much and have so much hermit mode time, where we're not so dove into people and connected and so open with them, because we absorb their attachments too, just by engaging with them in a very deep and emotional connected level. We can often pull in their attachments accidentally. So
that, going back to that video we watched, or you sent me today with the mystic, the autistic mystic.
That dude is amazing. I love that guy. I want him on the
If y'all
channel.
haven't
I
seen
sent him.
Autistic Mystic, you need to check it out. We'll leave a link in the description below.
Yeah.
But this guy is awesome. He's on point. And when he was talking about the crystal children, that really resonated with me. It resonated how we have clear auras, which means that we can chameleon, which I agree. I've been a chameleon, where it's like I can go into any room and be okay with everyone. But there's always that person that's in a really low vibrational state that really doesn't like me because I make them really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For the most part, I get along with everyone. And I realize as I start to chameleon, and I'll start to like, I'll hear myself almost getting the accent sometimes. Like I'll hear myself and I'll start, and I'm like watching myself and I'm like, am I being a weirdo right now? Like, what is that? And it's honestly, it's because we're able to get people to be comfortable with us because we don't mind adapting ourselves to wherever they are.
And
how's that not being a master, man? How's that not being a master?
The indigo generation has the capacity to crystallize, of course, right? And so a lot of us as indigos, we had blockages in certain areas, but in a lot of the areas, especially the lower chakra systems, the red, we do mimic all there, right? So we are mimicking the same way a crystal does for most people around us. That's why we're the same sort of capacity for healing, but we're not as tuned in, right? Like crystals are born tuned right into source usually.
No, we had to go through. That's why I don't think I'm a crystal, but I understand it because I feel like I understand it now.
You evolve, right?
Exactly.
And you would crystallize, right? That's what when we talk about our Merkaba crystallizing and our energy crystallizing. You evolve into a crystal eventually if you have that capacity within you. If you were put here to become that, then that's what you'll do. And I think that's where I'm at now. Finally, it's taken me a long time, and it's very hard to balance that because especially the indigo has to dissolve the barriers that they were born with, which they are sort of programmatic barriers to that openness. In order to become as open as the crystal. So That's probably what we're working on, at least together. And what a lot of the indigos are doing now is seeing the examples too of the crystals, and then going, oh, I could totally do that.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
and then learning how to actually manage it, because when we chameleon the other people, we have to chameleon them without any judgment, right? Because if we're if they're being shitty to us, we feel the shitty.
I want to be
So
shitty back. Like it's a hard thing for me to not want to meet people where they're at and go,
Yeah.
this is what you look like right now. And is that wrong of me to want to mirror somebody when they're being shitty? Or when you hear to receive
Yeah.
things with love, what does that mean to you? What is it? Because I don't think we always understand even what that means. Because God's even
Yeah.
come to me when I've had to give tough love, and he's like, tough love is tough love. It's love still, you know? So
Yeah. What I'll say is the first thing to do is to let yourself off the hook. You'll respond how you need to respond in the moment to show you whatever it is later,
True.
right? So you'll reflect on that situation after it occurs, and it will enlighten you more, right? Each situation's there for your growth. So once we can get into that mindset, which you're already in that mindset, right?
Yes.
So once we understand that, then it's more of a practice of being non-reactionary. So when somebody triggers you, you just silence. You hear other Buddhists and people talk about silence. It's being non-reactionary to their nonsense. You hold your power, you stand in their shitty feelings, and you just observe it. And what I found the best way to do it is for me, is to go, oh, this person wants to fight with me right now. I'll just wander off to non-human form, and I'll just say, these humans are funny. Like, these
Brilliant.
humans are fucking
I get
funny.
sucked into the human drama still, you know, and I'm trying to break that crusader warriorness, and I'm always going to be a warrior. And I know a lot of people will feel that way. I don't want to give up my warriorness, because that is what allows me to then be this way. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And I'm actually kind of just, when I'm speaking, a lot of times I'm processing. It's weird.
Me too.
But what I'm gathering right now is that the only way I can be non-reactionary is because I have been a warrior. Because that little bit of intensity, that
The
little bit
Marines
of
teach
like
that too.
that confidence, and that little like, who the fuck is this human talking to like that? You know, that little bit is enough to deter them from taking it a step further. Where you can now be that soundboard for them. Because in the end, if somebody's coming at you fucking twisted, it's for them and not you. It's not about you. It's never about you. My thing is taking it personal still because of the emotion. I get so sucked into that.
It's hard.
And
when the heart opens, a lot of men aren't used to having like a super open heart. We're pretty like defensive and right. Yeah, we're like, you could
the Grinch. Oh, it feels. I feel it. What are these
oh my
feelings?
god. Oh my god. Yeah, like I had a picture. Somebody sent me a picture of like the Grinch with the Xmas lights on him, and it's like his heart is like lighting up, and he just looks so miserable. And that's kind of what it's like when we first start to wake up and open the heart. Is we feel the misery, the suffering, and not just in ourselves but in other people, and so it's really hard. And we need to just, honestly, a lot of it is let ourselves off the hook, because we're doing the best we can, and we are experiencing deep pain and trauma, and especially with me, it's with women, right? And so like that's a standard thing for divine masculines. They're going to need to heal wounding from women, and it's going to show up in different forms. For me, it was all abandonment, but so now I just think everybody, even right before this call, I was like, it's 3:34, he's gone, I'm getting in the bath, fuck this guy. But it wasn't like that.
No, I get it, dude.
It was just like, forget it then.
I say to you, bro, I was even thinking, because I got a little upset too immediately when you were like already gone. I was like, but what I gathered from it is you're literally helping me let go of the semantics.
And I got from it, and I got the same from it. It was like, I'm not honoring him. If I'm, I can give him a couple of minutes. I don't need to be some kind of like dictator, like, oh, you be here right now. Like, it's, I could chill. And so I was like, I was almost trying to like, but it wasn't you. It was just like,
I get it, man. It's our own stuff. It's our own.
People leave me. That's fine.
Yep. Dude,
I wasn't even,
Yes.
I wasn't even mad. I was just like, that's fine. If he doesn't want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope he changes his mind though, because I'd like
It's
to.
like it, dude. It's a heart thing, and that's what exactly going back even to what we were talking about that randomly. So basically, we had set a time to jump on this Zoom, and
3:33.
I came on. I texted him at 3:30. It was for 3:33, and by 3:34, he's like, "Oh, I'm in the bath." I'm like, "How do you get in the bath within a minute?" Like,
bro, and you know what? At 3:30, I was like, I had messaged you a few minutes prior to that. I'm like, are we still doing this? And you didn't see it, I guess. Right. And I didn't get a confirmation that we were still doing it. And so in my mind, I'm like, I don't think this is going to happen.
Like,
I'm like,
I had the freaking Zoom open. I was waiting for you to come on and start talking to me because I was doing some work, and that was the only thing. But what's so incredible is it just shows that, like, no matter how far you get in the spiritual journey, you're still a human. And to be honest, bro, we're in our young 30s. We're kids. And that's something that came to me with this idea. We're going to jump back onto the divine feminine and the inhaling divine masculine, but this kind of goes into that is we're no longer spiritual toddlers. Remember how I kept talking about that? And you're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't say that because then you're going to be that. What they came to me was with this image of a school bus. And it's, I'm not a toddler anymore where I'm hanging out with mommy and daddy all day. I'm on that fucking school bus and I'm like 6 or 7 years old, which to some people that might be offensive to hear. Oh, I'm not a kid. But on a spiritual journey to be from 3 to 7, to be a 7-year-old is so much grander and greater than being a 3-year-old in terms of knowledge, wisdom, experience, capability. And so if you think about it to help us with pace and patience, what if we were just kids in elementary school right now on this spiritual journey?
It's the age of Horus, right? Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so it's the age of Horus right now, and so what that means is that we've put aside this cycle is going to be a few thousand years of being children. So we're actually graduating into children. We're healing the inner child and then becoming the inner child, and that's why when me and you were getting together, it's very fun. We're just, we're talking about serious things,
but growing out.
We're just having fun like we would in school, right? We're just being like kids, right? The innocence is there. We're not trying to like manipulate things or, we're just experiencing the world, experiencing being, we're present with each other. So it's, when they set these things in place, these cycles are meant so that creator can experience certain archetypes of themselves at certain times. And so they'll be like, what if we have 7 million people that need to remember how to be a child? Wouldn't that be cool? 7 billion people or 8 billion or however many souls are here, whatever. That's sort of what it was like when we were planning this. We were wanting to experience this particular type of thing at this particular time. We were wanting this archetype. Notice I'm saying I'm feeling source speaking through me, right? It's channeling, right? So
you just got my chakras I just lined up.
Yeah. And
that was crazy. Because I'm now getting the same feeling. And what I gathered is it's bringing us back to the divine feminine and divine masculine conversation we started with this crazy diatribe that we went on. But it's perfect because all of our issues with our divine feminine, all our issues with women are due to our childhoods and due to us losing our innocence. And because we lost our innocence with women at a very young age, we didn't feel good enough. We didn't feel received. We didn't feel like, imagine walking up 7 years old, you walk up to little Susie with a flower and she goes, nah, and she like slaps it out of your hand, bro.
That probably
you become a fucking man whore in like a second from that. That is like how, women are like, how did you get like this? Well, because you were an asshole to freaking Johnny.
Why are you such a dick?
So
I'm a dick because I'm fucked up.
Fucked up, man. Exactly. And so what I've gathered from this whole thing is, how do we regain our innocence, especially in relationships, especially in intimate relationships where,
ooh, that's a good one.
When we were 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, and we got our first broken heart, or we got our first rejection, or even, you don't know how adults treat it. Like, I have my stories, you know what I mean? So imagine trying to form intimate relationships with the other sex after something has happened to you. An adult has done something to you to not trust yourself, to you to not believe in yourself, to you to believe there's something wrong with you. So that is what I believe a lot of starseeds went through, because sexual trauma is such an intense way of breaking a spirit, and I believe that's why I chose it as a starseed. I chose that to be my breaking, was that experience, was because it's so life defining that if you cannot be taken all the way down with it, it will become your resurrection. It will be your salvation. And so with all the people that are still struggling with potential memories that they may or may not have actually brought out of them yet, what do you feel? Because you talked about your childhood being a little bit of why you have trouble with women now. And I've had nothing but issues with women my whole entire life. I still do, but I love them so much.
Oh my God. Yep.
So, I mean, this is real, people. This is like human stuff right here, man. Like I still struggle
Yeah, it's hard
to trust, to be loved, to receive love, to allow someone to make a mistake that hurts my heart, to
and know
allow
that
that.
it's not their fault. It's our pain.
And so that's what, we're talking about here right now is the real shit. This is that
So
real
intimacy, right? That's what we're trying to get to with divine feminine.
Yeah, man.
From a divine masculine point of view.
Yeah.
So in my experience is that I felt like everything that I ever did for women was not the right thing. And then there was that whole like type of Me Too movement and things where a lot of men were demonized, and not that they didn't do it, but as a man, you start to take on that pain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You start to take on the pain of like, oh, like men treat women like shit.
And being mad at the men, which means you're mad at yourself.
You get mad at the men. You take on the trauma willingly. But in my case, for me, it was abandonment, because what would happen was I would fall in love with a girl. It happened over and over and over and over and over. I'd fall in love with a girl. I'd be like, here's my heart. And then she'd go, oh, ew. And, but what, get away from me. I don't like you. You fucking weirdo. You love me? Ew.
Ow.
And I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty gross. That's true.
Oh
yeah,
shit.
That's true. I'm pretty fucking gross. So I guess I'll just go. And so then later,
I'm just gonna fuck off over here.
Yeah, I'll just go fuck off over here and jerk it or something, I guess. I don't know. That's.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because
no,
so
man.
Relatable.
It's funny. It's funny. Like, but what else am I gonna do in that when I'm a kid, right? So and then I'd have a women control me as well. So I had one, and I'm not gonna mention her name or anything like that, because that would be very disrespectful. But I had one who would constantly need attention, and she would get it through cutting herself and through like trying to commit suicide and things like that. And so I was always wanting to try and heal her, or help her somehow, right? So, but that's how she would get power from me, was like, I remember one time I was, I think I was on psilocybin, and I was just like, and I wandered to the bathroom, and she's like laying in a pool of blood in the bathtub, and I'm just like, holy fuck, like, and
fuck, man.
Yeah, and I'm on mushrooms at the time, right? And so I'm like, I lose my mind. Basically, I'm like, she's dying. The world is over, because I loved her, right, too. And so I thought she was gonna die, because it wasn't as bad as it looked. She had just made sure it looked as bad as possible. She was punishing me. At least this is what I believe. She was punishing me at the time because she didn't like that I decided to take mushrooms in the middle of the day on a Tuesday or something. And I was just like, bitch, I'm taking mushrooms. And she's like,
I'm gonna ruin them for you.
Excuse me? And
I'm gonna ruin psilocybin for you for the rest of your life. Watch me. Watch me.
You can't ruin that substance. Anyway, so I went, it's funny. I went in there. It's not funny, but
that substance.
No,
I tried.
Yeah, I've tried.
I love it.
Yeah, I still love it. I don't really take it now, but I may again. We'll see. But it was those type of wounds that then they come up, and so now for me it's abandonment. So like, I'm just terrified. I'm terrified that they're gonna leave. So everything that I do ends up becoming like a power play of me trying to make sure they know just how dedicated I am to them, right? Don't worry. I'm so dedicated to you that you couldn't even get rid of me if you wanted to. Like, I will follow you around.
Yeah,
Like, I'll put you in a box and drag you with me. Like,
just
you
because I'm
know,
that dedicated.
I'm so dedicated that it's not even up to you, right? That's almost the energy that you're giving, right? And they're going, no, I'm a goddess. You
You need to worship me.
worship me, I worship you, then we come to union, right? It's very simple, but it's not simple, right? Because it's so bumpy because there's so much wounding on either side, and so um, trying to come to actual real intimacy is so hard, so hard to come to it and then hold it too, and be able to balance between like intimacy and then when you have a conflict, because you're going to have conflicts still,
I don't
balance
deal.
between that.
That's the part I don't deal with well. I don't deal with drama well. I
It's
don't deal with
hard, man.
I don't deal with conflict well, and I don't.
Yeah.
I ask people to call me on my shit, but when they do and I don't receive it the way they think, I'm gonna, just because I ask you to call me on my shit doesn't mean I'm gonna receive it the way you want me to.
Exactly.
Like,
And what
but
I
it's on me
noticed,
though, dude. It's also on me. I still, because I'm so hard on myself, I realize this, and this is why I still am not in that real relationship I want, is because I have yet to find that compromise with myself, to let myself off the hook, to give
yeah.
myself a break. And so I expect perfection for myself, and I'm not being cocky, but there's a 80% of the time I reach it. I reach those expectations,
Oh yeah.
which means that literally maybe 10% of the time somebody else is going to reach those expectations. And so I have to really learn to just, it's not learning, dude. I really think it's not learning. And this is why I love this conversation because we're moving into this. It's, if you haven't found the person you're supposed to be with yet, it's because it's not time.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is going to bring you that person. And when they come, it ain't going to be that much work. It will be work, but it'll be worth it. And it's not going to be any of this crazy shit. It's not going to be any of this power play. It's not going to be any of this crap. It's just going to,
Yep.
but it ain't
And
going to work until you do your work.
yep.
And that other person does their work.
And I'll just add on to that. Like, part of it is just releasing some of the expectation,
How do you
right?
do that? Teach me.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. What I do is I have faith, right? So trust in the person. So that, whoa, energy. Trust in the person, right? And have just an understanding that even though they've just done something that you don't consider to be within your expectations, right? Yesterday you were deep in love with them, right? And now they do this and you're just like, oh, I don't know. I now have all these questions, right? We're all perfectly imperfect beings, right? And sometimes we're going to see flaws in each other that we're just like, or things about each other that we just don't really resonate with ourselves. And it's about honoring and respecting that weirdness that they just did, and just being like, I don't get it, but I love you. So I mean, that's not me, but I love you. So, uh,
Go for it.
so yeah, knock yourself out. And you can even feel like what they're doing is literally a bad idea. And that's why they call this time period, they call this the choosing. And this is the choosing. And so it's people choosing each other. And when they choose each other, they have to they have to kind of come into this harmony, and as that happens, there's a lot of bumps along the way, and you can choose someone who doesn't choose you, and that's hard. But if you both are choosing each other and consistently showing up for each other, then it's really just about holding the space for the other person, sitting there and watching them be upset that you've bothered them in some way, and then even not retaliating or defending yourself, just being like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. I don't know. That's what I said. It must have been right. There's no mistakes, lady. Right.
Yeah.
And just, but all owning your power, right? Because if you apologize and say, oh, next time next time, you're giving it away again. And it's a balance, because there are concessions you may want to make, right? It's understanding that like they may have a point, right? Maybe you did something pretty shitty, right? And maybe it was just a miscommunication. But usually it's miscommunication because the intent on both sides is to make it work, right? And so you're both trying to make it work. Um, The other thing that I'd like to say too is fishing, like fishing for some sort of type of response.
Yeah.
That's all projection of our insecurity, right? So when we can recognize when we're about to try and fish, like I'm going to say this so that they say that. I want them to say that, like, I'm going to say,
I need their permission.
Right. For me, I used to do it about my beard to people. I'd be like, I don't know if I should have a beard or not. I don't know. Right. And I'm like, I'm being a baby, right? Decide, own it, whatever. And so I'd be like, and I'm not saying that to, I realized after we were talking about your beard.
It doesn't fucking grow. That's it. I got it right here, and then it'll grow, and then it look like ZZ Top. I look like a dirty redneck. I already got like a mullet going. So. Dude, I'm in Florida, you know what I mean, man? Like I'm all America at this point. I even got an American flag shirt on. Yeah, you gotta go. I told you. You got the Canadian. You're the Canadian Florida man.
I don't give a shit, man. I'm growing my hair out like Jesus. I said this a while ago. I think
bro. I got great locks. Can't help it.
Yeah, I got good Goldilocks up in this.
Something I wanted to bring up about the divine feminine masculine, the theory that I've come up with, imbue, whatever words, right? So what I've noticed is that.
Oh, my battery's gonna run out.
Oh shit!
Literally low battery. 3 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. We've been at this for a while, so I'm gonna end with this. We've been at this for over an hour now.
Oh, good.
I think, right? We could do it. Oh, dude, it's 5 o'clock. So, anyway, we could do another one tomorrow, so that'll be great. But I wanted to finish with this real quick. This theory about divine feminine and masculine. What I've realized is that in the last 10 years, they've flipped, where women are now being more like men and men are being more like women. And I believe that is meant to happen in society. But from the Godhead, from the 100,000 square foot view, it's men healing the divine feminine, men healing the divine masculine and getting in touch with the divine feminine, women healing the divine masculine and getting in touch, or healing their divine feminine and getting in touch with the divine masculine, and us not being able to fucking deal with it because I'm a person too. I have feelings. Like I'm a guy now. I have feelings. I'm a person. And the woman's like, "You're a bitch." I noticed it, dude. It's so
kneel to me.
You're a pussy. Like, I'm gonna go and shave my face. You know what I mean?
It's so true. It's so
true, dude. It's so true.
It's so true. That's exactly what the plan was.
Yeah. This 100%. Conversation was amazing, brother. Let's do it again.
Always. Tomorrow.
Live stream it, bro. Let's start it.
Yeah,
we're gonna start live streaming these things. We're just gonna start freaking just going with it and see what happens.
Yeah, and we'll take questions and stuff. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Dude.
A big idea I have is Friday night live streams where we can actually start bringing people on to the Zoom call and having conversation with us for a little bit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
You're a genius, dude. All right. This was great. I love it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for talking. Adam, love you always, man. And,
love you, brother.
Let's do this again.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, bye.